It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
And sponsored by smashingpennies.net. Get 10% off your order with code GeocacheTalkNetwork. They are perfect to put in a geocache. Thanks to Derek of Baker 6 Clan for the opening and graphics, and our featured patrons, Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, None of It Tidy, Team Tailwagger, Super Nate, The Twonky, Burnt Turtles, Cazelli, P0001, 80K Sarah, and our new patron, Soccer Kicks. And we welcome in the crew tonight. Jesse, the Memphis Mafia boss. The Mafia boss.
That's not even close.
Whoa. Jesse's a mob boss?
Yeah, I am maybe ranked second in the Memphis Mafia.
Whoa.
He may be second, possibly third.
Second with input from both daughters. So.
Okay.
And
he'll
the
find
boss.
out after the show. He'll get the feedback where he ranks.
That's right.
And the other Italian boss, the ninja of the pizza, is with us tonight.
That is true, Gary. And
did you have pizza tonight or last night?
Yeah, for lunch. So I've had it for lunch. So I got my daily dose of pizza.
Nice.
And I have been known to make some pizzas disappear. Just saying.
Wow, you are a pizza boss.
I made a pizza disappear this week too, John. I had pizza this week. I don't eat pizza very often, but now granted, it was homemade pizza. My daughter made it, so it was excellent.
Nice.
But it did disappear quickly, though.
And you didn't send me a picture. You should have sent me a picture, Jesse.
We don't need
not one of
pictures.
those
We don't want to take
picture
pictures.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know almost probably once a week, I send Gary a pizza picture. That's all.
That's right.
No comment.
I love it.
Just saying.
Yeah, I don't necessarily take pictures of my food that often, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. It's a different strokes, right?
True.
California well represented tonight. We got Bell on the Move, and we got UDAC. So, shout out to California. Right at you, California.
Shout out to Top Hat Cachers from New York, from New Paltz.
There you go. Oh, nice. New York and California. Some of our favorite folks.
Not that I'm trying to start an East Coast, West Coast thing. I was just saying hi.
That's right.
We love them both. We love both.
Yes, absolutely.
Geo Tribe. I think she's in Iowa, if I recall. We got everyone from all over. I mean, we really do. We've got.
Yeah.
It's great that we have people who watch and listen from all over the states and also Canada. Shout out to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and usually we've got folks that watch and listen in Europe We love our European folks. There's Australia. Apparently Monday's a thing. 30,000 feet. How are we? We're doing feet
Are they in
for
the
that?
air on the airplane?
How many
or
inches?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Are you going to space, Darren?
Yeah. That's pretty good. Yep. Ontario. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Mhm.
Wisconsin, Minnesota. Jane's in Minnesota.
The middle, representing the middle of the country.
Exactly. Well, we've got a lot to cover, so let's start with this. We want to give a quick update on last week, Podcast to Hope. So podcasttohope.com, still out there. It's always out there, but the campaign that we're currently in will run for a while. But if you'd like to be part of Podcast to Hope for this year, then you are more than welcome to still give for Podcast to Hope. We are sitting at $24,904.82.
That's
Can
awesome.
you guys
That
believe
is
it?
so cool.
No, I can't. I'm blown away. Every year I'm blown away.
Yeah, we've never even come close
No.
to that before. So
That was just amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So it was a great
That's
night.
awesome.
A quick update on our hour one guest, Heather. Heather sent a note saying she apologized for not being able to make it. She had some family medical issues, and so we were not able, and she was not able to. She regrets missing it. I mean, yeah, we are awesome. So, but no, I'm glad she's. I'm glad she's.
Family comes first. We understand
Yep.
that, right? We get
Absolutely.
that. 100%.
And I really appreciate her. You know, she didn't have to respond, but she did. She let us know that she regrets missing it. We had a really good group. I mentioned on social media, which I don't get on very often, but I did mention briefly that Jared Watson, our hour 1.5 and hour 2 guest, he was on for a portion of one. He came in, and that he was hoping to be part of Tournament of Champions wild card, which is where they invite folks back that have won, and then they have to win again to get part of you have to win sort of a tournament to get into the Tournament of Champions.
Right.
And he went on the local CBS, well, not local, CBS in Dallas, CBS affiliate in Dallas, and they surprised him on there. They didn't, and I checked. This is legit. He did not know. He went in for the interview, and he did the interview. But at the end of the interview, they said, we just want to let you know that we heard from Jeopardy, and you are not going to be part of the Tournament of Champions wild card. But we do have a message from Ken Jennings. You know, Ken Jennings is the famous Jeopardy champion, and he's like, okay. And so then they played the little blurb from Ken Jennings that said that, you know, you are not going to be part of the wild card, but congratulations, you go directly to Tournament of Champions.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
So Jared gets to go directly to the Tournament of Champions. It will be, I think he flies to LA in February, and I think this will be aired, and I'll give everybody, we'll give updates on when Jared will be on. I think he'll be on in April, but he films it in February. So just a quick update on our guests. We had such tremendous time with the folks that we had. It was a great night, and so there's the update. So, all right. Well, we've got. Go ahead.
One more, not really news, but update.
Okay.
We had them on recently. The Travel Bugs, their new song, the 100 Caches in a Day, it is now available. So it wasn't available at the time.
Nice.
It is available now. You can get it on all the platforms and stuff.
Cool.
I've already downloaded it, so it's available. Just letting everybody know.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, Gary, can I add one too before we get into the meat of the show?
Yeah.
So one thing we were talking about before the show is geocaching goals. And we'd love to hear your geocaching goals, especially if you could send us like short videos, like 30 seconds-ish. If you could send those to geocachetalk@gmail.com, because I know this is a year that a lot of people are thinking like, what am I doing next year? Am I hiding? Am I finding specific caches? Am I completing a certain challenge on that front? So if you can send a short video or send that information to geocachetalk@gmail.com, we'd love to share that with folks to help inspire people, to help get a sense of things that people are planning. And I think especially for me, I know up in the great Northeast here, where we get a little bit of that thing called snow. Sometimes it actually shuts down roads and stuff. Yeah. Up near Buffalo, New York, believe it or not, sometimes it snows so much that things close down.
Oh, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You guys wouldn't. We're winter friendly attribute to you guys is maybe you don't have to wear sunscreen, I guess, right?
I've seen it in movies, but I always thought that it was just a movie prop, which I think it still is. I don't think I've ever seen. No, the other day.
I've had it for too many years. I'm good.
Yeah, you did.
Anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. You don't have to shovel sunshine, so we don't have to shovel sunshine. Yeah, I was feeling
down to 60 here this weekend, so I understand cold.
Oh man,
down to 60.
So is that
chilly.
So cold you can't wear your Taco Bell flip flops outside? Is that what you're telling me?
No, not for me. No, okay. I'm good. I can still wear shorts anywhere year round here. So
Hodag plans to hide at least one cache. Really? Well, that's. I think he'll make his goal.
Bar.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a low bar there, buddy. So we're gonna get in the meat of the show. One last thing I want to say real quick is that I have sent some of the winners, other winners that aren't that are done by some of our vendors and such. They haven't probably contacted all the winners, but we had a lot of winners in the giveaways, and unfortunately for some, I had some single shirts that we gave away, and I had to apologize to some because I just had one shirt and they won it, so I sent it to them. I wasn't able to give you options for sizes. I'm very sorry, but hopefully you can either, if you can't wear it, maybe somebody else can wear it, or as Tom would say, use it at at an event. So give it away at an event. So there you go. That was fun. We had also a Canadian winner. So I sent off the Canadian winners. So people do win, and people do win internationally. So there you go.
Sweet.
Yeah. So tonight's show is part 2. We did a Dear Geocaching a few weeks ago, and we ran out of time, so we're going to hop to it tonight and get into the next set. But this is basically a follow-up, a PS, a postscript to that show. So
Jesse, maybe even our Christmas list. It's like Dear Santa, but it's Dear Geocaching Santa. Here's what we want for Christmas this year.
Maybe. So where do we want to start? We're going to start with yours, Jesse. We're going to go to John's, or where are we going to go?
We can go wherever you want. I got my notes.
All right, let's start with
Old
yours.
school news shows. Remember they?
Yeah, exactly. You got
Paper
the
and they would,
paper.
they would look
Yeah, I
through the
love
notes.
it. Yeah, you
Man,
get a little
that
crumple.
seems legit.
Get your little
I'll,
crumple.
Here, I'll start with one, and then John can go because I wanted to make sure we got to this one. So I also asked the CFO and my daughter what if they got to pick a goal and send it in, what would they pick?
Nice.
So I asked Miley. Now, keep in mind she's 16, right? So I wanted something from her perspective. So I quoted her exactly.
Okay.
She said she would ask to make geocaching more enticing for people who aren't old.
Oh,
I was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about that probably for an hour alone. Like, how could we do that? And I think that's something I would like to actually visit in the future on the show.
Yeah.
Because she's grown up since she was like 5.
Oh, yeah.
Doing this, right? 4, I think even. And when she's little, it was a huge draw. We got to hang out, go find prizes, treasure hunts, and everything else. She's older now. In fact, she can even drive herself now. There's not as much draw for her because, geocaching competing with a lot of other things. Now, she always does it with us as a family.
Sure.
The draw for individual teenagers to do that, I think, and of course, I know HQ is trying to figure that out themselves, right? But I would like to hear, throwing this out to the audience, I would like to hear people's suggestions of how we could do that. And I would like us to brainstorm too and maybe revisit that topic coming up in the future because I think it's huge trying to get that next generation going, right?
No, and she's very well positioned to discuss that because she's a teenager now, but she's been around geocaching for what, 10 years?
Probably 12 now, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, she is well versed in geocaching. I mean, I know that, for a fact. So, but she's also well versed in being a teenager. So she's
right. Exactly.
So, and she still loves it. So it would be hard to sort of have a teenager. You can't really just discuss it with them if they hate geocaching. It doesn't really fit,
Right.
But I'm wondering what did she give you any insight as to her thoughts on what she still likes about geocaching from a teenager's perspective?
We talked about it for a second, but I want to revisit it with her, and I haven't really done it yet. I want to revisit it with her, and because there's other teenagers that do it too, and I'd like to dig more into that topic next year and find out.
I like it.
What would it take? So does she have specific ideas? I haven't grilled her on that yet.
That's fine.
I just asked her and the CFO what their suggestion would be, and I said don't think about it, and I intentionally asked them not to think about the details of it.
Sure.
The topics alone, just fire out some topics, and I put them down from there. So we should definitely look into that next year because I think that's part of the health of the geocaching community, right? That's something we should explore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that actually overlaps with one of mine.
Oh, perfect.
Where one of mine, me writing to Geocaching Santa, I said, we need younger people to play the game for the game to continue on for future generations.
Sure.
And on mine, I'd like geocaching to actually gift premium membership to a group of young people, like teenagers, people in their 20s, send it to them, use it as a focus group. Because I think for people, if they're getting started with the free app, I mean, I got to be honest, I just remember when I started with the free app, and I don't know about you guys, I think it was probably the same day as when I actually paid for premium to go there.
Right.
Oh, quickly. Yeah.
So I think for younger people, if they're trying the game and they're just doing the free, I think you got to give them the premium, but I think you got to get their feedback from them. What makes sense to them, for geocaching to really make sense. And I don't know, I'm thinking, should we call it a favor to Taylor Swift on this one and saying, Taylor, can you mention the thing about geocaching?
Oh,
okay,
God.
You got her in speak.
She just finished watching the Chiefs lose, so I don't know if right now is
she's not
time.
I'll call her later.
Gary,
later.
Too soon, my friend.
That's
too
right.
Soon.
That's right. Ouch.
Too soon.
She's not going to be happy right now. So we don't want to catch her on a good moment. Not right now.
And Taylor Swift is an extension of my favorite football team. So I appreciate what she brings to the game. Just saying.
Hey,
They're basically best friends. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like the Chiefs. I mean, I don't like them as much as you do, but I like the Chiefs. They're okay.
Yeah, and I think UDEC is right. We need a Taylor Swift Swiftie special on geocaching.
Okay. I like it.
I think that's too big for geocaching. Too many muggles would find out about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting idea. Of course, that's sort of like, it's like giving something to somebody and going, nope, that's it. You're done.
Or
free premium. Of
or
course,
you-
a trial.
Yeah.
That's
you put in
not
your birthday, and then if your birth date's below, a certain point, you get a free premium trial.
Owen from KC wants to know that he did his part. I don't think he did, Owen. They didn't win, so apparently he didn't do enough.
One guy can't carry the whole team now. Come on.
Yeah, it's a team sport for sure.
Yeah. So along those things, so in Colorado, they had an issue for years that the skiing is big business in Colorado, right? Obviously, snow skiing.
Yeah.
Well, they found out that it was basically all tourists coming in to ski, and the locals weren't skiing in Colorado. They were going out of the state to find cheaper places to ski.
Right.
So they did a program for, it was like 4th through 6th graders. They could sign up, and for 1 year, now it's different. For 1 year, they could get a pass that gave them like
free lift ticket,
14 free ski runs or however it worked. I forget how it worked, but it was an introductory thing. So that has been tried by other businesses, right? And
true,
they were trying to get people hooked. And by the time you get hooked after a year, you stay into whatever.
Sure.
Same thing in geocaching. There may be something where they could do and that could be done through schools. That could be done through anything else. But there's something there, and I'm sure they're working on that. But I'd love to see it draw in more younger people if we're going to keep the game going in 25 more years. Not a lot of the charter members are going to be hanging around, right? So we need to go over the next 25 years.
No.
If they are, maybe it's, I don't know. We're not going to think about that. That's morbid. But to keep the game going forever, we're going to have to draw younger people into it.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
absolutely.
All right. What else you got? What else you guys got?
All right. So
I'm gonna keep you on
asked the
schedule
CFO,
tonight.
and I will. I'll go through hers, and we can stop and discuss. Something's going on with our cameras tonight. I'll stop and discuss as much as we can. Her number one was, can we please get rid of earth caches?
Christy.
That was her first one. We don't necessarily have to discuss that one. That was just her personal preference. That's what she said.
I know she hates them. She hates the bad ones. That's the thing.
I don't think she likes the good ones either.
Does she really? Okay.
No, she doesn't care about geology, and she never will, which is great because there's different aspects of the game. She loves history, so she loves virtuals. That's great.
Yeah.
She knows she can filter those out in searches, right?
She does. She just tells me no, and we don't go find them. So it works out perfect. She's a great filter. And then, so one that she was more serious about was, she said, it would be cool, and this could be either a third-party app or this could be geocaching. Who knows who kind of does that or whatever. But she said a county notification running in the background with text alerts. So if you have your phone running in the background, if you're traveling and you go outside into a county, if you cross into a county that you hadn't been in before, you get a notification.
It texts you, right? Send you a note.
That's cool.
I have no idea how that would happen. However, that would be awesome for county cachers. That would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of, Nick may be able to do that for all I know, but that would be kind of a cool thing, if it kind of getting in, kind of leaning into the county cachers. There's not a lot done officially or unofficially with county caching other than People's Challenge, which that's not HQ, that's people.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool for that small segment of geocaching that are real big county cachers. So I thought that was an interesting thing. Yeah, I'd pay money for a
Soccer Kick says, yeah. She said, yeah, that's for sure.
Maybe
that would
be cool. We have to ask Nick about. We'll see if Nick can do that.
Yeah, we'll have to have Nick on again pretty soon. We're about that time. I think the new version obviously won't have it, but the new version's probably pretty close to being released. So I'm thinking we should try to get him back on pretty soon.
And when we're talking Nick, we're talking Cashly. And I always love whenever Nick's on this show.
Yeah.
Because and Cashly, for those that don't know, great app for iOS on that side. And I always love when Nick's on the show because like you'll say something, he's like, I thought about that. Not this release, probably the next one.
Probably the next
and you're
release.
like, and you're like thinking you're just like picking this idea out of the air, like at random, being like,
and he's on top of it.
That would be
he's on top of it.
He makes it happen.
All right, so that was actually a serious one she came up with, and I think it'd be cool. And since Nick's coming on in the future, we'll talk to him.
We'll hit him
That's
up.
even a real thing, right? There may be some licensing, privacy issues that I don't know. Who knows? But still a cool idea. Okay, the next one she said, and this was interesting. Some of hers caught me off guard. She was joking around some, but she gave some real ones. She said, set minimum standards for containers. And I asked her, I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, like a pill bottle, like there should be some basic standards, not just suggestions, but actual standards for, you can't do a Ziploc baggie shoved in between two bricks. You got to have, you can't do a food container that's been used. You can't do a Sprite bottle, somebody's former medicine bottle with maybe scratched off label on it. I found one with full labels on it before, she's like, the $1 Tupperware container, like if they could set minimum standards on containers, like these are acceptable, these things are not. Not with custom containers, right? But with standard containers, I was like, that's not a terrible plan. That's not a terrible because I've seen a Sprite bottle with a Sprite label still on there. Hidden as a container, it still had a little juice in the bottom of it. I was like, this is ridiculous.
They left that for you as a first to find prize, Jesse. Just to be clear, I mean,
and they have
a little first to find sip.
That's right.
They have standards. I mean, so why can't we add that as a standard?
Yeah, they have size, reference. Yeah, but anyway, that's just. I thought that was a pretty actually decent one.
That is a great one. Because I know like so many times if I'm out in like the woods or something, I'm finding a former food container and it is like chewed up by chipmunks, squirrels, bears, something,
Pathetic. Yeah. Terrible stuff. And we don't get into the negative side of stuff here that often, but that stuff is very annoying.
Sure.
All right. Her next one, I'm just going to read it and we'll go from there. She said, this is just more of a statement than a suggestion, but
I like that idea, by the way. Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, about a pizza box. Also, real quick.
Yeah.
If you use the geocaching app, it does have a notification like that they're referring to. So
Cashly has something like that too, right?
The Top Hat has that. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and Adventure Lab does too.
CGO does.
You can do proximity alerts on Adventure Labs as well.
Yeah. So they're out there for that type. So if they can do that, I would think that maybe a county line could be done.
It may be a little hard to do the county, but I think you could do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna preface this again. I'm just gonna read her suggestion word for word, and then we'll move from there.
Cool.
This was less of a request and more of a suggestion or a statement. So I'm just gonna
statement.
She says, "Power trail owners who don't consider parking should be beaten." That may be a little extreme, but that's what she said.
Wow, physical punishment. That you're saying physical punishment should be in the guidelines.
She said beaten. I don't know. That was her suggestion.
Okay.
No, and it was so that's more of a pet peeve, and that's something we can talk about in the future, pet peeves or whatever, because we don't like to get negative with stuff. But there's a good thing there when talking about safety. A lot of times when you're putting caches out, people don't consider where people will actually park for it, because some people are fine driving in ditches and some aren't. And power trails, when they don't consider that can get dangerous for people getting in and out of cars. So you really got to consider a lot of things. And we've run into some of those situations before, and that's one of her personal pet peeves. So not shocking that she made that statement. But she did give one more serious one. All right.
Okay.
The other serious one was she said she'd like to see more support for state and regional groups, like more official support. I know that HU does some things with them, but I definitely would like to see those. I agree with her on this. I would love to see those highlighted and pushed a little more, even if it's not HQ officially. Some groups are major. Texas, their group is extremely active.
There's several.
Colorado, we had an official group, and then it kind of busted off, and then it went away for a little while, and then it came back. And I would love to see that more of a regularly highlighted thing. I agree with what you're saying, because those groups are so helpful for local education and getting people into the game and everything else.
Yeah.
They don't need money. They don't need anything else. They just, being able to find them easily all the time. A lot of times you can get on Facebook and try to find it, but there'll be official groups and unofficial groups, and sometimes it gets confusing. So I can see where that comes from. Highlighting those and supporting those is just good for the game. And that's just U.S., obviously regionally as well, right? Outside the U.S.
There are groups within, because, being, intimately involved with Cache Fest Oklahoma, there's a Tulsa group, very well organized. And then there's a COG, Central Oklahoma Geocachers group. Both great, both have great members, but they're, they each kind of have their own thing. I think they do some stuff together, but you get the idea. But, I've seen, like you said, I've seen groups. Texas has several regional kind of groups.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course they sort of have regional groups because of the Texas Challenge. Anyway, they have regional members who are in charge of regional things. So I like, but you're talking about something you want to see geocaching.com do something. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I guess, yes. I mean, it may not even fall on them to do, right? It may fall on somebody else to do. I don't know. It may fall on us to do, to have a listing of that somewhere.
Yeah.
But then more support along with those, like highlight them. Because a lot of people don't even realize, I know a lot of cachers that I've talked to across the country, they don't even know that they have a state group.
Sure.
So connecting people with the state groups, I think, can be very beneficial. And I don't know that there's even one single way to do that, right? Because a lot of them use Facebook. Well, some people, cachers, don't use Facebook, so, and they have a website, most of them do, but nobody knows the website's there unless you know that the group already exists, right? So that may be one of those things that could be put together, because those are very beneficial for people, especially starting off.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an important part of the game.
But you'd access financial, promotional, I think, yes, right? Send them out and reward them, help send them,
So kind of both.
Yeah. I think all of that could be good.
Mm-hmm.
So there's ways to do it, both financial and promotional kind of thing.
Yeah. Not that HQ can afford to like send out a bunch of money to everybody, but they can help promote or highlight that too. So just it was initial thought. I think it's not bad. Something we could explore and see how we can help out with that. Right.
No, I think that's, I like it. I mean,
sense.
Even if they just spend some money, not necessarily giving money to, the Central Oklahoma Cachers, but somehow spending some money to put that on their, I mean, they have, if you go to geocaching.com, there are a few, they could add some links in there. They could add a link. You'd have to go through a formal process, but you could kind of.
And I haven't looked on there lately. That may be something they've recently added. So,
I mean, they could add something like that.
Yeah, see that exactly like that.
Hodag
templates or some way to do that, and just an organization with that, because they can be extremely helpful. They can help. I remember when I was first doing CETOs, Florida. I wasn't living there at the time. Florida's state group had put out, here's a through Z of what you need to know to host a CETO. And I think geocaching.com picked it up later too, that article, but it was great. And I was like, that's awesome. It was like everything you need to know. Hey, find a location. Here's what gear you might need. Think about this. Think about that. Food, water, safety. I was like, it was all. I bookmarked it so many years ago, and I've used it several times to like template my CETOs after. So states can really put out some, and it was a regional thing. Like, here's how you do a CETO in Florida, right? So they can really put out some good information like that.
Well, and it can become, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, but it became a vital item when we started the process of trying to help find the lost geocacher in Louisiana.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there wasn't seem to be any traction going on with the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I just pulled up, just went and Googled the Louisiana Geocachers and found a group, and I just sent a note to their, because I don't know personally any of them, but it was easy to find them on Facebook, send them a note and say, hey, could somebody go out to the oldest in Louisiana and tell me if the signature's there? And of course they immediately responded, and somebody from their group said, yeah, I can be out there in a couple hours. So there's a perfect scenario that the state groups became.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They can be vital. They can be a really good source of information and support for people.
Yeah.
So supporting them, whether it's HQ doing it to highlight them or to more recognition or whatever else, that was her suggestion. So
yeah.
we'll see.
And I dropped
we'll see if
in
we
the
can play a
chat.
part in that too.
I dropped in
Yep.
the chat too a
Group.
geocaching has a groups and orgs map. This map, I don't know how up to date it is, to be perfectly honest, on this side.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this could give people a hint if they're in an area and they're
That
trying
one?
to think like, yeah, that's the one,
Yeah.
Gary.
Arc
Like if you're in an
Geos.
area and you're like, is there a group around me? I mean, certainly you could use that map as a starting point too.
Sure.
You can search for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. That's such a critical thing, becoming part of a group, especially when you're a newer cacher and you're trying to figure out how the game works,
Yeah. All right. So there's from the family. I've got my suggestion. Let's turn it over to John. John, go with one.
John, you do one.
Yeah. So this is kind of similar to the side aligned with Jesse's point with the county caching. I'm just thinking like if we're notching up the technology, artificial intelligence is everywhere right now.
Right.
But the question is, how is it going to impact our geocaching? So I think HQ needs to look at putting AI into the app, into the website. I think a really cool thing that they would do is if they had a recommended geocaches for you. So if it's either like you pop open your app, you go to the website based upon, what you've done in the past, it says, hey, here's some really cool things here,
Right.
It could be like if you're into something like earth caches, that could happen, Jesse. That they say, here's some really cool earth caches that are by some that you favorited, so if they can take that data from caches that you favorited, use that to try to identify some new ones, especially when you're traveling, because if you're traveling and you're thinking like, okay, I'm in this area. And sometimes, and I don't know about you guys, sometimes, I don't look up all the geocaches in an area where I'm traveling or when I'm stopping, maybe for like a rest stop, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I usually do bring up the app at the rest stop, and
Sure.
just saying, is there a cache here? Because if there's like a cache like 50 feet from me, why am I not getting it?
Why am I not grabbing it?
Right. But, also at the same point, it's just like if you're in that kind of situation and it pulls up that recommended ones based upon your favorited and the ones that you found in the past, and it's like, hey, you're going to love this cache. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
A couple miles away, like using AI technology. I mean, I think that would be cool.
So you could also ask it questions too, right? Like, hey, Signal AI, are there any cool caches? Are there any caches I would like around me now?
Yeah.
And it would say based on your you'll probably, just like suggested favorites up and down for everything else, like Netflix and stuff. Like you watch this, so you'll probably like this.
Yeah.
It would be able to tell, like, hey, is there anything nearby, that I can do? And that could be kind of cool.
And that too, Andrew, because like I'm just thinking like if there's challenges, right? Because like sometimes, like if you're finding that unique DT and you're right by it while traveling, but then you don't know about it. So if it pops it up and it's like, hey, we saw you could fill the square on your DT grid, right from here. Like how cool would that be? Onto that
would be awesome.
Because I think that would be awesome.
K-Blast wants to know why you're broken. Why are you broken, John?
Oh man. Okay, so K-Blast, imagine the scenario. I don't get my pizza for the day. I'm not operating at peak efficiency. Okay, I'm traveling someplace where I'm not familiar, and just things don't line up, man. So with this AI, if it could help me on that side, and the other thing I think too for unique caches, because like there was that great show that you guys did with the Cache Across America series, right?
Yeah,
and they said there is one in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at the Corvette Museum, and I'm thinking, like, son of a gun! I remember
could have gotten it
right past that museum,
right?
Yeah, on the way to Memphis, and then right on the way back. But I'm like, if there was,
I'm sure we've all driven past them.
Yeah. But if there was one where it was like, it just interrupted you, and it was like, cool cache, right by you, right now. You should do this.
Hey, don't let Brian give you a hard time, because he walked past probably a dozen geocaches during the Macy's parade and didn't find any of them. So just remember that he walked past them, he ignored them completely and just kept going. Just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Of course, I think he
can't
had
see anything because I was like 800 feet from the Cache Across America in Hawaii on the trail, and I didn't get it.
No, that's crazy.
Oh my God. But I mean, like,
I don't even want to
how-
talk
You didn't
about
know
it.
about
Pretend
it.
like it didn't happen.
If
but
you
how
knew
much of
about
a
it, you would have
stink was
found it.
that? Yeah, but if you had an AI that was like, this is a cool cache, you are right here.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, you're gonna miss this. Like forgotten favorites, like they have on
Yeah.
Project UC. Same type of deal. Oh, okay. We need that one. I vote all the other ones out. Let's keep
Like
that
a
one.
regret.
AI is what we need.
It's a definite
So,
regret.
Geocaching HQ, please embrace our robot overlords to help us find some cool caches.
Yes, please. Cool.
All right. Let's see. Okay. I will. My next one is I'm gonna just gloss over this one because I think we've actually talked about it before, but I would love to see them open some aspects of Adventure Labs to challenges. Now that they're adding more things, either adding more, categories and all the little stuff for Adventure Labs, I would love to see them add that back into challenges. But I think we've kind of talked about that already before.
Wait.
Adventure Labs, you can't be used in most challenges that you put out now.
Okay,
I would love to see them say like,
add those back.
Find with the different types or whatever, or now they're starting to do it, kind of 5 stages, 10 stages, because you can't really do it by location. There's a lot of things you couldn't do it by, but there's a few things you could. Basically, those category types.
I follow you now. I follow you.
But we kind of talked about that when we were talking about the update to it.
So
that's actually what got me thinking of a lot of these in the first place. So
sure.
Another one that we've kind of danced around before, but I'd love to see them do it is if they would, like they did the museum that we talked about with Brian the other night, that promotional thing.
Yeah.
What was it called? The heist, museum heist. They had the gyms out everywhere, and then they did the digital monsters thing.
Mystery
too,
of the museum. Yeah. I
would love to see them leverage that for lonely caches. So cache hadn't been found in a certain amount of time, or the owner's out, or whatever else. A digital souvenir pops up. Hey, come find me, and that goes to wherever in your profile. You get to keep it. Like I'm a cache maintenance level 1. Like helping call it something, right? I don't even know what you'd call it, but like you get a badge for going out and checking on a cache that hadn't been, whether you found it or not. You're going to check. I can confirm it's still there. Right. I would love to see the same thing with travel bugs. So a travel bug goes to a location every 30 days.
Oh my gosh.
A little digital souvenir shops up and goes, hey, there's travel bugs that need to be checked in this cache. Somebody goes out there, they get that travel bug souvenir for their thing, and they post a note that says, here's what travel bugs are in this cache.
Travel bugs, man. We need to talk about travel bugs.
Think about how you could do that right now. Granted, the owners should be doing all that, but they don't, right?
Yeah.
But the incentive to sitting out there for other people racing to that cache to go and confirm what travel bugs are in it, it would cost them nothing to do that, I'm sure, in the background, like programming time. But after a while, there's no physical. That would be a good way to like incentivize maintenance on caches. Like community maintenance on caches.
Wow. I mean,
or just lonely caches, right? Like, hey,
I like the lonely cache.
But there's a lot of things they could leverage that for, right? Go send somebody after lonely cache or an unfound cache or whatever, who knows? Mm-hmm. They could do it for FTF. First person that logs it gets that FTF badge. There's a lot. That's a whole different show, right? But I know they don't recognize FTFs, but there's ways to do things like that.
Maybe they should. Maybe they should embrace that. I mean,
I can list 5 reasons right now why they shouldn't. But totally off topic, right?
That's like a whole show in itself, right there.
Yeah.
So
I guess there's no way to really. Are you going to slow down cheating that's already going on? I mean,
there's no.
You're not really slowing down.
That doesn't happen. What are you talking about?
I mean, I don't think you're going to slow down. I don't think you're going to slow cheating down by not doing it, right? I mean,
but you'll definitely encourage cheating in certain situations too, though. So, okay,
yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
Guess
they could leverage that. They could leverage that technology and there's a lot of things are technology based right tonight, but they could definitely leverage that technology and do some fun things with it.
No, I agree. And the lonely cache one, I definitely could see that for sure.
Well, that's just a use badge of honor too, like going out there finding a lonely cache, especially if it's been a long time.
Or even just a cache that doesn't get hit that often.
Yeah.
Or one that's highly favored, or who knows? There could be a lot of things they could do with that as like temporary incentives to send people to certain locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cache, yeah. And this is I don't want to get too far in the weeds on this, but it's relevant to our current discussion, which is the number of active geocachers, and we're pretty much at the end of the year, not quite, but we're close, is down. We're down 7% in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
Let me see worldwide. We're down 7% on the whole year as far as active cachers.
Well, and how do they define active, Gary, in that too?
I think they have to have at least found one cache this year to be considered active. I'd have to go through the details, and I'm looking at in Project GC. I'm looking now, for example, whether fewer geocaches hidden. See, they don't really mention it, but I'm thinking that they consider active to be. You're active if you found one, I think. The interesting thing too, and we can't really get into this now. This might be a early 2024 thing, which is caches found in the U.S. I don't have for the whole world, but for the U.S. I do have for the whole world. Let me find it. But we've also got caches published is down this year overall. Let me change to the whole world real quick just to see, because I had it filtered for the U.S. So it may be up in the. No, it's down. It's down for the whole world. So it's down 9% over across the whole world. Active cachers. Still, you're talking about 1.7 million active cachers. The game's not dying. It's just down.
No, yeah, it's going to go up and down though with world events.
It does. But still, I think that they need to be aware of it. They need to keep an eye on it, because you don't want to. You don't want that trend to keep going for. Yeah.
Well, they're definitely watching that and trying to do what they can.
Yeah, I don't know. This good question. I don't know.
Yeah, this segue is pretty good to one of mine, though. I think geocaching needs to do a better job at rewarding cache hiders that do a great job.
Absolutely.
Because really, you do a great job. What do you get as a cache hider? I mean, you get some great logs, you get some favorite points.
Or you get some not so great logs.
You get some not so great logs, too. But I think one of the things that geocaching should consider is if a cache owner gets a certain number of favorite points in a year, they should maybe get like premium membership free for a year.
Ooh, I like that.
Discounted rate. So like if you just got to figure out, where do you set that bar? Do you say like if a cache owner gets 200 favorite points in a year, they get a premium or discounted on that side?
I like the idea. I don't like the reward. So what HQ is doing next year is that for the virtuals to be eligible for it, you got to have hidden a cache and receive 4 favorite points on that cache in 2023 to be eligible for virtual 2024. Because there's one source of income for HQ, right? The premiums. And that's a income coming in. And I think, one, they would lose money for that, although 2, it would incentivize some people. But people that are going to hide those are going to keep their premium membership anyway, right? So we're not going non-premium. None of us are. None of us are thinking about that. However, I think they'd be more incentivized if they could get something else, right? Like a virtual or a special souvenir. People that hide stuff like that, they like to see something. And I do like what you're saying. They need to reward them, but I would love for it to be something like you get a virtual, you get something special that other people don't have access to, right?
Well, I think the virtual is a great start. I think if you took a look, you'd have to take a look at the data. Because how many cache hiders out there or cache owners get more than 200 favorite points a year? And you could set up to 300, 400. But, you know, I think even, and I like what you're saying too, Jesse, but I mean, I think even if cache owners got like maybe like a chance to try new features first or something, like
Yes,
Geocaching HQ was rolling it out,
I'm down with that.
and they're like,
Yes.
hey, you're a solid cache owner here. You're doing great work. You're trying these things first. Okay. And when you're trying these things first, we're going to come back to you for feedback on
Yeah.
these new ideas of how we can do it. I think some other way to incentivize it. And I think the virtual rewards is a
Yes.
great start. You know, I really do.
Yeah, virtual
I like what
rewards
you said.
though
Access
is not going to be
new
for
features.
it's not going to end up being for everybody. I mean, you're not going to unfortunately, you're going to leave a lot of people out. Just the way it
Right.
is. You're just going to
But you got to have tiers of levels, right? Like if you
Yeah.
hide some
True.
caches this year and get some favorite points, we'd have to reward you with this. If you're in another tier, you know, you hit 10 caches. You're maintaining 10 caches with 10 or more favorite points. That's a lot, right? There could be different, like, I think the number one draw is what you just said. Forget all the stuff I said before that. Access to try out new features.
Yeah.
People that are hiding cache and deep into the game like that, they would love to access stuff before everybody else. That's going to be a huge draw for them and a huge reward for them, more than any of those other things we talked about. I think that's going to be I mean, you think about the cacher that hides those, they're deep into the game. They're investing time, money.
Right.
You don't get that by accident, right? To get to be a deeper part of the game before other people, you're gonna eat that up. People would go crazy over that because that's tapping into that audience that's really deeply invested in the game.
Yeah. And there could be a great focus group to saying this is a great idea.
Yeah.
This works out well, or here's something different you should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they have the hider perspective, right? So
yeah.
Not just a finder. Everybody's a finder. Not everybody's a hider.
If y'all go look at your cache owner dashboard, I'm looking at mine right now.
Okay.
I've got 11,000 found logs. I have 79 published hides. I have 187 archived. I bet, Jesse, you have a ton of archived because all your events are.
What are you looking at? Cache owner dashboard. Okay, cache owner dashboard. I got
cache owner dashboard. Yeah. I've got 708 favorite points. Now I don't know what the breakdown is for the year though.
Yeah, and I think you'd have to do it by year to reward people. You know what I mean?
I think so because I don't know. That's over, how many years?
I have currently published 79 active. I have 79
we both have 79 published currently. How about that?
No, I don't mean published all time. 79 active right now.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I have 79.
Okay.
I have 79 published that are not archived.
Yeah. I have archived 322.
Yeah. Well, a lot of events.
Yeah.
Lots of events. An event a week.
Yeah. It's No, yeah.
Sure. I like. Did you see what Nick just posted? Can you mark their account with something to let people know that they are an awesome hider, like they have a charter member marked? That's a cool idea.
I love that idea.
Cool.
That would be cool. A little icon next to their name somehow, next to the cache. That this cache owner is good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I would, if there's some kind of award or reward level for your quality of caching, whatever standards they set, I would be doing those.
Yeah.
There would be nothing that stopped me from getting that on my profile. I'd figure out a way to make it happen, right? Because that's just like kind of there's not like levels in geocaching or whatever, right? Other than charter member, which is not a level of anything. It just means
that's not
beginning.
Yeah.
There's not levels in geocaching. So we're competitive type people. I mean, think about it right now. If they said not master, you're doing excellent. I don't. Supreme geocache hider. I don't know what level you call it.
Yeah,
right?
Something.
And they set out criteria. I would start working. Tell me y'all wouldn't start working towards that immediocaching.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah. Without a doubt. That'd be my number one goal coming up.
Also, I wonder if geocaching.com should promote Project GC badge gen more. To kind of really, because I think a lot of people don't know it's out there.
Yeah, I love badge gen. But I agree. We've had this discussion before. Badge Gen is so telling of your style of geocaching, right? You go and look at that. You can see how people cache if you go and look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Highly favored owner hider. Be kind of cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. Come on now. If that thing comes out tomorrow, that's my number one goal. There's no doubt about it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, next one.
I'll give my next one. At first, it'll sound like I'm joking, but I'll explain.
Okay.
Get rid of webcams. Ooh. So,
okay.
Now
so no Earth caches. No.
Hold on. Let me take care of that. Okay, I took care of that problem right there. So.
Oh man. All right. I said let me explain.
I'm kidding.
Get rid of webcams or bring them back out with extreme updates, modification. Do something with them or get rid of them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So I know what I'd love to see is one or two things. One, they just bring webcams out kind of like how they were before. And as we've mentioned, but they're only associated with GeoTours. Drives people to GeoTours. They're going to refresh. If they get rid of the GeoTour, it's gone. If they keep it going, it's there, right? So
that was a good one.
People would go further for a webcam than they would a GeoTour if they keep them extremely rare.
Which they are extremely rare now, but I agree.
They are. But if they kept them extremely rare, only on certain places, certain times, maybe mega events, get to do a webcam.
I think megas. Yeah, I think megas and GeoTour
will go crazy for that, right?
Yeah, they would.
Limited time. It's only going to be here. It's kind of like a Adventure Lab. Set it up and it's gone, right?
Right.
Or revamp webcams altogether and make them into some modern version of that. That's not just take a selfie and, because we have cell phones now. So if they can come up with something new to do with webcams, then it would be cool. The worst thing they could do is just release them like the old version now and everybody can make one, that would be horrible. But if they come up with something new, like a whole new way to do it, or make it as an extremely premium thing that people could get like through GeoTours or megas or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by getting rid of webcams.
I agree.
Don't freak out and cry, people, but that's what
I was kidding. Yeah, I had to pull you out of the show.
Or just get rid of them because they're stupid anyway. But we'll move on past that.
No, you're right. And Owen says make it a temporary location list, not permanent, just temporary locations.
But I mean, like they did with the location list that they're doing, do one that's officially sanctioned by HQ. It's not just something that somebody publishes because they want to. You have to go through the official process. So they still exist. You still have opportunities to get more, but they're limited and rare, right?
Right.
Because all the existing webcams are eventually going to go away, or most of them will anyway, right? So that would keep at least the icon type alive.
Yeah, because doesn't it look to you guys like they've labeled it, they put a check mark by it that this is one that's like the locationless. Once they get down to a certain amount, they're just going to kill it, like they did locationless caches, because that's what they did. They killed it.
I'm okay with that.
I know.
Yeah, but or come up with a new version of webcams. I don't know what that would be. But something cool like that. So
right.
We seem to be going backward though, because we talked about this before. What's the last one they added? Adventure Labs doesn't count. It's not a real cache type. It isn't.
Well, it's not for county cachers for sure, right? I mean,
right.
That's gone. Or
you can fill your
regional location. That doesn't count for any of those.
You can fill your calendar days with Adventure Labs,
but not your county map.
Right. So you can do some, but not others.
But when's the last time we had a true, I think, multi-cache? Giga was but that doesn't. I can't hide a Giga. Well, I can, but not really. I mean,
but it's also a type, right? In that and then Where I Go would probably be the last type that was added. I think, right?
I think it was multi-cache.
Was multi added after Where I Go?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Either way, they haven't added a cache type in a long time. You're right.
But still, it's been. Let's put it this way: I've been caching since 2016. I don't remember a cache type being added. I mean, nothing of sub. I mean, Giga, yes, but that doesn't really count. I can't. I mean, like I said, it's extremely unlikely that I'm going to hide a Giga.
Yeah.
I mean, it just isn't going to come about. So I'm just saying that
but do
history,
we need? I don't
history
want to get
cache.
too far off, but do we really need one though? We always said we want one, but what purpose would it really serve?
Just to add some.
Let me defend that statement for a second.
Okay.
We have a certain amount of cache types now, right?
Right.
98% of them right now are traditional.
Or
if we have another cache type, it's still part of that 2% where people hide, right? 98% of all the caches out there that people hide are traditionals.
Oh,
we have all these other types that nobody uses anyway. So why do we need to add another type that nobody's going to use?
That's probably true.
By nobody, I mean a small percentage, right? Obviously, there's people that do all of them, but it's a really small percentage of caches that are not traditional out there. So
yeah,
would one even do anything other than we got a new thing to go for?
I'm just trying to think through like things that we would be adding to the game, even if it's not done by a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure they've kicked this around. I know that we've gadget
They get
cache.
asked that question all the time.
A gadget cache icon. Icons can be done though. That's strict to that. That is more likely to happen. And we've talked about that before.
Icon is the cache type. Attribute is the easy one to get done.
Attribute. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Attribute. Attributes are easy to do. Adding a whole new cache type is sort of, you're kind of getting into the major engineering side of things that they don't want to. They don't seem to want to do that.
Yeah, but attributes, I mean, they just added what was it, like Power Trail Challenge Cache? Was that
they added some attributes not that long
ago. We talked about that last year, I think, when we
we
did a show about adding attributes, and then they added some attributes. Wonder where they got that idea.
Okay. We're running out of time, but I want to get to all of ours. John, do you want to hit? We're going to have to hit rapid fire, but you got another one you can throw out real quick?
No, go for it. You're good. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
John, you might have to
say. Yeah. I got a couple. So one of mine.
I got some more too. So
this one's going to be a quick one.
Okay.
But coming back to Geocaching HQ, looking at what people have done and sending them notifications, I think HQ should send nudges to cachers who found a lot of caches, never hidden one.
I like that.
Like, we've noticed you found thousands of caches, but you have never hidden a cache.
Yeah.
Geocaching depends on people hiding caches as part of the game.
I like
Here's
that.
some resources.
Friendly nudges.
Yeah. But just some friendly nudges, because I don't know about you guys, but I've done some of those friendly nudges when you're somewhere and you found somebody who's found like 2,000 or 3,000, never hidden one. And I like to ask, why haven't you hidden one? You know
who else can make that suggestion? Signal AI that you mentioned earlier.
Signal AI. Yeah.
I mean, like you turn on your phone to like, hey man, are we going hiding again? Are we going find? We're gonna go find caches again today. How about we hide one?
How about we hide one?
Yeah. Or caches. So Signal AI, they don't reveal the really cool caches to you until you hit some.
Ooh.
So you could like adjust it, like slide rule, like how aggressive do I want Signal to be with me? Or do I want to be helpful, or how, you could adjust it, and like you can see the frog, like he gets meaner.
Ignore, The more you ignore it,
he like starts to get like jacked, like Incredible Hulk style.
That's right.
Like don't
his
make
eyes
Signal
turn
AI,
colors.
Like man, you don't want
his eyes go from yellow to red.
That was a throwdown. That cache wasn't there.
That's right.
Why don't you hide something right now? Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah. I'll hide something. My God.
You said you had another one.
Go for it.
Okay. I got another one, but this one takes a little bit. Okay. And I know, looking at that Mr. Memphis Mafia, he's probably not going to like this one, but I'm going to go for it anyway.
You're quite a ways away. You're not within.
That's true. I think there should be an official role that Geocache recognizes, because the problem right now is you have like geocaches that nobody has, all these that have been out there for a long time. the original CO's name on there. They're not adopted. They're out there. I think geocaching needs to recognize a caretaker role. So let's suppose on this one that somebody, okay, is out of the game. Out of the game, we'll say for a year. We'll start with a year. Okay. They're out of the game for a year. Somebody else can serve as a geocaching caretaker for one of those caches. It doesn't mean it's adopted. It means if that person, takes care of the day-to-day, they're being officially recognized as it. But if some cache after that year, okay, so the year comes up, somebody can then put forward to be a caretaker within a year. If nobody becomes a caretaker for that cache, gone. That cache is archived. That cache is done on that side. Because
I see that.
Geocaching, though, because we need to clean up the game board, there's too many people either community maintaining bad caches out there.
Right.
Oh gosh, that's
but it's like you need a way to just nuke off the board or officially designate somebody as a caretaker.
Well, I don't think you even need a caretaker. I think we nuke them off the board, but put them up for adoption.
If they can do that, I mean, that's another alternative. But I mean, it's either it needs to be like
I think they could if they set
somebody
the rules
adopts
coming
it,
up.
or
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it should be gone after a year, regardless. That's your job, and maybe even at 6 months, it goes up for adoption if the owner doesn't check in, and in a year, if nobody adopts it, it's gone. I think they should be gone because technically they shouldn't be out there at all if nobody's in the game to police them.
Right.
So, I'm on board, but however they did it, as long as they start cleaning it up, I'm happy with it.
Yeah,
but
I just think though
that's where the state groups come in. Maybe it gets put up for the adoption, and the state groups take care of that. They know somebody in that area; they can help get them adopted. But they need to go. I agree.
But it needs to be an official process where it's like you give it a time. Caretaker.
Yeah, I agree.
Adopting.
Absolutely.
All
right. Okay. I'll jump on some. I'll fly through mine real quick, Gary, because I know we're already past our hour. But
no, you're fine. Go for it. We're fine. And this is
okay.
This is kind of our last show, by the way, for us for the year. Next week is Gadget Talk, which is cool, and then we're off for a while. So go ahead. We got time.
So it's funny that you said that one because my very next one was caches are archived when the owner leaves the game. That was my next one. So I was gonna have the same conversation.
That's a good one.
Did. I like it. It needs to be gone. Yep. And then all right, I'll fly through these because we could talk about these for 20 minutes each. I could anyway. I know
Andrea
they work
says she
towards
likes
this.
that. Go ahead.
I think they've done it now, but allow leaderboard set up with specific friends and points. I would love to see we could do a geocache talk group. We could do a Gary, John, and Jesse group, and you're able to select from a menu, whatever, what this month's points are. 10 CETOs, whatever else. But you could do it as either a state group or regional group, or even just a local friend group. But I'd love to see it where you could set your leaderboard, just like bi-weekly or whatever else, but you set your goals and that's what your friends are competing with.
That's cool.
To me, there's so much you could do with that, right? Set up challenges and everything else.
I mean, Georgia does one, but I'm sure it's a lot of work for them. I know.
Yeah. But I'd like to see it be official part of HQ. They already have a platform anyway.
They would probably love that because I think that Geo Monkey Tiger and the different ones in that group, they have to do it. I think and they can correct us if we're wrong, but I think they actually have to do it sort of manually. But they create a Georgia challenge every month.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I've seen people do that, and it's a lot of work, it
is a lot of work.
But if they already have that platform and you could allow to opt in who are your friends list, because I have a lot of friends, but I don't want to compete with them all the time with certain things, right?
Yeah.
Because we've connected with so many people. I've got 1,000 friends on there. Well, that's not an exclusive group.
Yeah, that's not a group.
That's everybody I've met,
Yeah, exactly.
We can select, include these people in this group this week, and these are our goals.
Yeah.
Man, would that not change with so many aspects of the game? There's so much that a lot of people any of the challenge people would love that crap. We would be going crazy over that.
And then when I go, hey Jesse, I'm going on this really cool caching trip. Then he goes, take John off his leaderboard for that week.
That's right. Boop, he's off.
Boop, he's gone.
All right. So, and I mean, we could sit here for 20 minutes and talk about the possibilities of what you could do with that. You could do so many things.
There is a lot of options.
Events. You could do it for, one day, maybe, who knows?
Sure.
On and off. Okay. Then we've kind of talked about this before, but allow users to purchase one locationless cache.
Yeah,
So kind
I
of
like
like a
that.
personal icon thing. We've talked about that
Yeah.
before. You could do it as a fundraiser. It's whatever amount of money, because you're only allowed to get one for your
Yep.
account. Has to be a premium account, and that's your cache. You can do it kind of like an adventure lab, but it could be, there's a lot, it could be physical or whatever else. So
It brings back a cache type. I'm all for it because it brings back because I want cache types back. So
and I'm not necessarily even saying that it's a new icon type or anything. I mean, it could fit under some other category, but whatever it is. But
that's the thing too.
Special thing that you get and do. It's kind of the rules. You do whatever you want to do with it.
I think it'd be easier from an engineering side of things to reactivate a previous cache type than them having to rebuild into the system.
Yeah.
Because obviously it wasn't too difficult for them to, GC Fave came out.
And you wouldn't want to put it in that category because that would probably water that down. Yeah.
But I guess what I meant by that was they were able to bring those back from a programming side of things. I don't think it was as difficult for them to reactivate the locationless because they were able to do it, and they only do locationless that they do. So go ahead, John. Were you?
No, I think a challenge with the game is if you're saying it's a legacy cache type, getting people those experiences to check those boxes,
Sure.
And I think that's the struggle with some of this. How do you get people to check those boxes that are very rare to do, So, I mean, that was, that to me, I mean, that's a cool thing for them to do on that front for sure.
Yeah.
All right. And one more I've got is HQ for talking about the profile now, right? We talked about it a little bit tonight, like Extreme Hider or whatever.
Yeah.
I would love to see some standardized badges for major challenges, like part of the game, Jasmer, Physique, 365, things like that. Those are pretty standard challenges across the board, right? It would be cool to have on your profile. There's those milestones in geocaching, like, cache for 10 years, whatever else. There could be kind of like our Project GC badges, but on a much more limited basis because you wouldn't want to junk it up. But those three challenges alone that's standard and well known everywhere.
Yeah,
sure.
You could do that, kind of like just a little to add badges to your profile, and it just kind of encourages that more robust caching. Going after some of the classics, the milestones, and geocaching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's
Love
all
it.
of mine. I ran out of all of mine.
Love it. John, did you have any more?
No, just additional logging requirements with having to get a pizza delivered to a cache owner in order to get the coordinates for the final. But that was my last one.
Yeah,
there you go. Those are good. Those were good.
John's call earlier. We want to hear about your goals next year. We were all talking about that.
Absolutely.
Email in what your goals are. We can kind of compile those. That's good. Even better would be like a 30-second clip. So we can kind of put all that together. That'd be fun. And because we'd have a record of it, right? And hopefully we get to revisit this a year from now and see how we all did.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate the virtual pizza, my friend.
Virtual pizza for you, John. There you go.
But now, was that 3 out of 4 pizzas there, or was that 3 out of 5? I'm not sure. So I'm not sure how you got rated there, John.
That's true. That may have been a clear ranking right there.
You got 3 pizzas.
That's right.
3 pizza slices. That's a good one. So, all right, cool. So, next Sunday is Gadget Talk. They're coming back to do a holiday special. You've seen the Star Wars special. This is going to be much better than the Star Wars special. I can guarantee it. So
up here, but is it going to be above the Doctor Who special? Christmas
special? No.
What level are we in talking here?
It's a high.
It's Star Wars and Doctor Who.
Yeah, somewhere between the two. Not quite Doctor Who, but it's definitely better than the Star Wars special about Life Day and all that good stuff.
You just made all kinds of people mad. We better cut it off.
Anyway, and then we're done until I think it's the 7th, Jesse, is when we're coming back. The 7th? No, wait, let me look. Did I get that wrong? I probably messed it all up. Hang on, I'll tell you. Yeah, the 7th, January 7th. So the next Geocache talk will be January 7th. Next week, the 17th, is Gadget Talk. We're off on Christmas Eve, and we're off on New Year's Eve. Just the way that things fell. So thank you to everybody who has supported us, either financially or just watching and listening to the show. I'm going to be posting this one, and then to help out for our audio listeners, I'm going to be posting some of our audio over the break so that you'll get some audio if you're driving into work and you're missing your Geocache talk. I'm going to be posting some of the Podcast to Hope shows individually that we did during Podcast to Hope. So I'll be showing those. So anyway, thanks everybody. Good night. We'll see you in 2024. Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Happy holidays.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.